typically in the midterms, it's not about who's sitting at the White House. It's you localize the election.
Right.
And you keep the federal officials out of it. We're actually going to turn that on its head.
Good.
And put him on the ballot because so many of those low propensity voters are Trump voters.
Yes.
I haven't quite broken it to him yet, but he's going to campaign like it's 2024 again.
Boy, there's the smartest woman in the West Wing. I mean, certainly, except for the president. The smartest woman, I had it right. But she's going to do some great things. Let's talk about with Caroline Downey, National Review columnist, and Liz Peek, Fox News contributor. Thanks, ladies, both of you. So she's right. Normally, the president kind of gets involved late in the campaign. They're not going to do it. He's going to get involved early and often, just like he's on the ballot. Liz, what do you think?
I think it's absolutely essential because he is the Republican Party. He won in 2024, and he pulled all the other Republicans along with him. And that is just a fair statement, I think. Plus, in the election in 2024, Trump revealed himself as a really likable, fun-loving, family man. People really warmed to him. And he needs to go out and do that exactly the same thing. When he showed up at McDonald's, who in America didn't think that was fun? When he was driving the trucks, who didn't think that was a great idea? He needs to go back, convince people that he's interested in them. He's going to pursue policies favorable to them, and he can only do it if he has the House and the Senate. But the House is really the issue.
And he's got to show up in person.
Absolutely.
But he will drive the truck again.
And by the way, he loves doing it.
And
so
he
it's
will
not,
dish the fries. I was just going to say that. It's his favorite thing. He loves doing that. Caroline Downey. The latest Harvard-Harris poll, whatever it's called, is a good poll. Interested me, but 55% said they trust the GOP and the Trump administration to be able to manage the economy. Now, this is not a poll that is perfect. There are things in this poll that are not good. They think he's losing the battle against inflation, for example. But here's one that blows me away. 62% of respondents said the Republicans won the government shutdown.
Huh.
That's the Harris. It just came out today. Anyway, I'm sure you agree with Liz. So he's starting tonight. And what do you want to see him do and say?
Well, I was just going to say, obviously the energy from the 2024 campaign trail, Trump should revive ahead of the midterms, but the messaging needs to be different because that election was all about defeating wokeness and the victory in the culture war. But now the buzzword is affordability. And it's time for Republicans to reclaim that phrase, this magical elixir, affordability, for themselves, because they need to remind voters that the reckless fiscal spending under the Biden administration is directly correlated to the inflation that eroded our purchasing power, including young people's. This cost of living crisis, okay, they think Trump's not doing enough to handle it. Well, who's to blame for that? It's the Biden administration, number one. And number two, I do think that poll, Larry, suggests that there is faith that the big, beautiful bill and the tax cuts extensions are going to kick in eventually.
Just sell it and use facts. Many of the facts are on his side. I mean, I've been going through it the last couple of days. Liz, I got one for you, though. This is very special. Jasmine Crockett launches last-minute Senate campaign in Texas. I know you're a big follower of hers.
I am. Here's the thing. She'll probably win the primary.
No kidding.
Oh, I think so.
Wow.
Well, look, why?
The Democratic primary.
Yeah, the Democratic primary, because she is totally in sync with what works right now in the Democratic Party. You are loud. You are, I was going to say ignorant. I'll say ignorant. But what you really are is sort of abusive and offensive, and people love it, particularly if you're abusive and offensive against Republicans, and in particular Donald Trump.
And you send all your money to Somalia?
I mean, she is really beyond. And the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, there are so many quotes of Jasmine Crockett saying really idiotic things like, it's not criminal behavior to be a criminal, or whatever it is. I mean, there are millions of them. Republicans are going to have a lot of fun with that.
And speaking of Jasmine Crockett here in New York City, Mandami taps convicted armed robber who did 7 years in state prison to serve as criminal justice advisor. How about those apples?
That's the tip of the iceberg, Larry. Mamdani has tapped so many advisors with very questionable, scary backgrounds. I thought the prison abolitionist was bad as an advisor on the criminal
This
justice.
is not going to be Harvard, Yale, and Princeton.
No.
This is going to be something much different than that.
No, they're not. It's not the cream of the crop. It's people who have kind of trafficked in anarchy, and they like the idea of there being lawlessness on the streets. Either the police will be abolished or the prisons will be abolished. And of course, some of them have criminal records themselves. So yeah, it's looking quite bleak. And I think that, safe to say, it nullifies keeping Jessica Tisch as the NYPD head, because that was clearly just symbolic and a diplomatic gesture, because everything he's done after that has proven he's wanted to empower criminals.
Donald Trump's going to have a thing or two to say about all this on the campaign trail next year. I'm just going to bet on that one. I'm sorry we're a little short of time. Liz Peek, Caroline Downey, thank you very much.